With Super Bowl Sunday right around the corner, sports betting is expected to surge. So how can you protect yourself or your loved ones from gambling addiction?
It's like alcohol or anything else. You gotta make sure everything is managed and taken in, moderation, just taken into consideration.
If you watch sports these days, you've probably noticed all the sports gambling ads. DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, just to name a few. New tonight, News 10 NBC's Tom Kowalski spoke with an addiction professional about the rise in sports betting and the possible risks.
Yeah, Nikki, this right here is the graph that shows the total state tax revenue from sports betting across the U.S. And as you can see, it has gone way up since all the way back here in 2021. It grew just under fivefold in the 4 years of data here. Now, with that increased gambling revenue also comes an increase in gambling addictions. So what are the signs that you can look out for, and what can you do if you become addicted?
Usually you're going to see some progression of the process, and the person often will start to cross their own value system, start to lie, start to not be fully truthful, start to hide money from others, which usually is losses.
Craig Johnson is a licensed mental health counselor specializing in gambling addiction. It's something he's seen increase in recent years. According to the American Gambling Association, over 67 million Americans are expected to wager on the Super Bowl this year, spending over $1.7 billion.
How, dangerous can this time of the year be for especially people who rely on sports betting?
Very difficult. Certainly the playoffs right into the Super Bowl is the peak time for people that are betting on football. Some of the people I work with have commented that trying to quit gambling, getting sober from gambling in this culture and these days is like an alcoholic trying to get sober in a bar.
I wanted to find out how everyday people like you feel about sports betting. So I stopped by the Shamrock Inn to speak with a few customers who've placed bets in the past.
I think sports gambling is okay as long as you're doing it responsibly. Never bet more than you can lose.
Everything in moderation, right? So at the end of the day, I think it's great that it's an option, but it needs to be regulated to a degree as well. Having ads like during the Super Bowl, I think kids having accessibility to that and seeing that is not always the greatest.
Now, the funds from those taxes actually go towards funding gambling education and treatment, and funding for youth sports programs for underserved youth. And here in New York State, sports betting is taxed at about 51%.
If you know somebody who's addicted, are there resources out there that they can get?
Yeah, Nikki, we'll have, of course, all of these resources on WHEC.com, but they can go to the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Sport, the DePaul National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, or reach out to someone like Craig, like you saw in my story right there, at your local Problem Gambling Resource Center. And again, it'll all be on WHEC.com.
I've seen all the ads. It is kind of nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.